Okay, so I made a completely separate video about this, but I forgot a fight and the editing was bad. It was my first time making a YouTube video, so here's just my predictions. Rotator versus Valkyrie. Um, I think Rotator's going to win. I'm assuming they're using their defensive wedge setup, which they've used to take out both Tombstone and Ice Wave. But judging by the trailer, Valkyrie actually holds up to it better than both of them somehow. And also, they have a weird undercutting setup. I don't know if that's a good or a bad idea, because if they go weapon to weapon, I don't think they'd win that against Valkyrie's much heavier weapon. But I think it might actually go the distance, but if it does, I don't think Valkyrie will win just because I don't think they will have done any damage, and I think they'll have been pushed around enough. And who knows, something could break down after those 45 seconds are up. So I do think Rotator is going to win by unanimous judge's decision. Might be split. Extinguisher versus Gigabyte. Both robots broke down. They had terrible first appearances. Extinguisher just got one shot and Gigabyte got blown up by Copperhead. So, assuming they're both back to normal, Extinguisher isn't going to just run to a wall and die, and Gigabyte's not going to have its head blown off like a shotgun shooting a person. I'm going to say Gigabyte's probably going to win. I think that wedge is going to hold up, but Extinguisher's weapon, they can only use the hammer when they're using the big wedge. So, I believe that Gigabyte's going to win because I don't think Extinguisher can do much to Gigabyte. Again, they might be able to push it around. If they're able to push it around and make it kill itself, that might happen. But I think Gigabyte's at least proven that it can win fights even against defensive wedges, and Extinguisher just hasn't proven that it can win fights against really any decent robots so far. And they could prove me wrong, but I have yet to see it. Slapbox for Sharko. I'm going to say Sharko loses to Slapbox because Sharko, it's a much better match for them than Smee, but I think Slapbox, because of Maker Faire, they at least have experience fighting control bots like Sharko. I guess not like Sharko. Nothing's like Sharko, but they don't have experience fighting spirits, but they have a lot of experience fighting control bots, and they actually almost beat Gruff at Orlando, so they're able to beat, or at least get close to beating good control bots, and that was just their first time, or one of their first times ever driving it. So I do think Slapbox is going to win, though I do think it's sus that Sharko both has an AMA and posted the fight card. That's probably a good sign that Sharko's going to win, but that's a dumb way of predicting fights, so Sharko's probably going to win, or Slapbox is probably going to win. I'm dumb. Mad Catter versus Malice. It's an unpopular pick, apparently, and I think Mad Catter has an advantage in reach with the hammer, which is what they're using, but Malice is really, really quick, and what I've noticed is Mad Catter turns really, well, not really slowly, but they turn slowly, and Malice is very quick and fast, and they turn fast. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to get repeated hits to the side of Mad Catter, eventually knock it out, and damage the drive, or even split it. I don't know if they'll split, but they will damage it enough to get the knockout win. So yeah, Malice is going to win. They're going to go undefeated. They're going to be the first undefeated team at 3-0. Tantrum vs. Adam 94. I made a lot of editing mistakes in my original video, but what caused me to just make this is that I forgot about this. I was about to get the footage for this, and I just completely forgot about it. So yeah, Tantrum vs. Adam 94. Adam 94, when it's working properly, seems good, but I've lost a lot of the hype for it after its first fight and after it's working properly and got destroyed by Mad Catter. I think it's going to be able to land some good hits on Tantrum, but Tantrum is a freaking brick, and as long as their little punching mechanism doesn't break, I think they're going to be able to deliver also some very good hits on Adam 94, and I just don't think Adam 94 can survive that many hits in the first place, whereas Tantrum can. Tantrum wins by knockout. Pain Train versus me. Pain Train, I don't think they'll have as much drive problems as they did against, Slammo. But they still pump wheelies. Whenever they drive forward, they pump wheelies, and with really any weapon, you don't want that, because it messes up the angle that you're trying to hit at. For Pain Train, they also have to get under things to really do any efficient damage. So when they're popping wheelies, they're not going to be able to do that. So, especially against another wedge like Smee. So I really don't think they're going to win this fight. Smee, on the other hand, actually has an opponent that can wrap itself around. I don't think they're going to win by knockout because I don't think they have the weapons capable of doing so. But they are going to pick away at Pain Train, hurt the drive on it, and eventually they are going to win by an easy judge decision. Uppercut versus Sawblaze. So I think that Sawblaze can scoop up Uppercut easily because Uppercut obviously has the weird like gyro dancing thing that they do. But also, the problem is that if the weapon's spinning on Uppercut, I don't think Sawblaze can even really bring it down. I think it's going to be very similar to Monsoon versus Sawblaze, where they scoop up Monsoon really easily, but they can't do anything with them. And the difference between Uppercut last year than Uppercut this year is obviously the spin-up time is far faster, but also I noticed that the spinner really doesn't... Last year, the spinner stopped spinning after like every single hit. This time, it doesn't do that, and even if it did, the spin-up time is so much better that I don't think it would even make... It wouldn't even matter. So, I think what's going to happen is eventually Uppercut, because Sawblaze won't be able to use that arm and won't be able to stop the spinner, Uppercut's going to land a shot to the backside and take control of the fight from there, and they're going to win by a knockout or a unanimous judge's decision because Sawblaze will be crippled by that point. So, just to go over it, the winners are Rotator, Gigabyte, Slapbox, Malice, Tantrum, Smee, and Uppercut. Have a good day and have a good week.